Good afternoon, welcome to Zelda Speedruns and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Crossworld Keysanity Tournament. SGDQ is going strong, but this won't stop us here at CSR to do our tournament coverage. Winner bracket round 3 is the matter today, with Matt the Ogre going up against a GFE. And without further ado, because we're ready to go, let's dive into the action and let's say hi to the two comms, to Cool Papa Bell and to Haiku Type. Hey guys!
Hello there.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, so this match, I don't have the race channel up, so I'm not sure if we're going to start right away.
Pretty much in 25 seconds, roughly.
Right.
And I forgot to crop, because I'm stupid.
Alright, so you guys are getting...
Sorry.
Right. So I can't see the restream. I imagine you guys saw Matt the Ogre's beautiful face there for a minute.
Yep, both of our runners are readied up, and they're all set to go. And we are off. Ooh, Boots in Sanctuary. That will definitely make for a fast seed for us.
Yeah, and bombs in Link's house are similarly interesting. If you were going to do the usual fake flipper to Witch's Hut, you're going to throw in this entrance here that Matt the Ogre is going into. So he will also have the opportunity to use bombs if the Witch's Hut is something that requires bombs, and full clear the well if that's what's at the useless ferry that he should be going for. Meanwhile, we saw Eastern Palace at the Lumberjack's hut just outside the Sanctuary, which is at the Lumberjack drop. So we could have some shenanigans with stealing the castle key.
Yeah, that becomes much more of a concern when the back of escape is hard to get to.
So Bush Crab, 5 rupees isn't terrible, but it's not great. It can help you get to something like a bomb purchase. GFE just now has enough to purchase bombs. Matt the Ogre showing the fake flipper behind the Witch's Hut. That one is a little tricky if you're used to other fake flippers. You need to do 2 different things. You need to diagonal up left into that transition, and you need to be only 1 pixel away from the transition, whereas in most other east to west fake flippers, you can be 1 or 2 pixels from the transition.
And the nice thing about that fake flipper is it lets you check that drop down up there very early, which we just saw Matt do, and found the Ganon drop down at the ferry location, and then proceeds to do the Houlihan glitch for some early rupees.
So GFE is making his way in town. He finds the chicken hut with the moon pearl at the fortune teller north of Kakariko.
Alright, so there's one of the heavy troll items out of the way already. GFE also showing off the game knowledge there to find a bomb at those bonk rocks by the fortune teller's hut.
Yeah, so Matt the Ogre did something I disagree with a little. Having found the Ganon drop at the ferry, he actually went in the front of this secret passage drop. I would have gone to the back and just taken the drop down. Meanwhile, he finds that red rupees are, I believe that is only the first pull tier, and he gets a glove off the uncle there.
And Magic Bat is hiding at the Sanctuary right now, so we're checking these drop-downs off the list. Seems pretty friendly so far.
GFE taking those boots over and is also going to Houlihan. Meanwhile, we find the laser bridge at the front of the castle.
As so often happens in cross keys, we'll see our runners' laser skip skills tested early.
Yeah, laser skips are a crucial skill, in my opinion, for this mode. You're often going to find laser bridge in a situation where you have to skip to get the items, and you don't want to leave those 4 items behind just because they're out of logic.
Yeah, considering that it is out of logic, it's wild to me how often you find Laser Bridge just like immediately in Kakariko or something.
So we got the shovel and the Hera big key there. GFE is taking the route I suggested, where he's just going straight to the drop, having found Ganon.
And so now Matt finds those boots a couple minutes behind, but nothing too tragic that he's lost there. Just a few seconds of running.
And he will get to... Okay, so Matt finds Eastern at the lumberjack hut just outside Sanctuary, and he is going for it. There are varying opinions on an early Eastern dip. Personally, I would be inclined very much to skip this for now because it's so easy to get back to. But Matt's going straight for it. If he can get some leverage out of these early items, it would be good for him, because GFE did skip this for now.
Yeah, it's sort of a tough call because all these, the first 3 items are in logic. The fourth one is the dark room, but with the big key and the bow unlocking more items, a lot of people really like putting this off until you have at least the big key to check the big chest. You don't wind up triple dipping Eastern throughout the game.
Another factor actually is that hint. Early hints can be very valuable, so although in the past I would think skipping Eastern was much more popular, that hint I think has changed things a bit. So for dealing with these laser skips, GFE is showing us a couple different things. First of all, you can, coming out of the south, you can fall in a pit and get to the bottom chest just with iframes, and coming from the north, you can fall in a pit and get to the top chest with just iframes. The middle chest, you're going to have to do a skip. And we see that hint in Eastern gives us some information of mixed value. The Ice Palace big chest is useless. It's good to know, but it's not necessary that it's not necessarily going to help him a lot that he knows it early.
Yeah, just a fetch quest we can ignore later on. We should also say that the Tower of Hera big key is here on Laser Bridge, which both runners have now. So assuming they have a weapon whenever they find Tower of Hera, they can just kind of one-shot that one. There's still the basement to worry about, but big key, very nice to have early.
Yeah, that beetle on Laser Bridge can get in the way. If you, however, set a bomb and just throw it north as soon as you get in the door, that knocks him into the pit. That, of course, you will need to redo if you die. We see the upgrade ferry at the Bonk Rocks behind Link's house. That's pretty valuable for early bombs. GFE makes a purchase and gets a full fill up to 15 bombs.
Yeah, and that extra capacity is also nice if you do something like run into front of escape right now. It's a lot easier to do on 15 bombs than 10, and you just have those extras in your back pocket whenever you need them.
So GFE turns this fetch quest in right away. The shovel was also on the Laser Bridge, but it's just 50 rupees.
Meanwhile, Matt the Ogre finding the ferry drop down in the Lost Woods hideout, which does mean there will be at least one item behind Aga 2. Hopefully not the well, but there will be something back there as GFE finds Ganon's tower for us.
This is on the library screen. This is normally a chest game in vanilla. It is the rightmost building on the library screen. He can only get the Hope Room chests, and he can get the torch item. They both can. They'll have boots the first time in there.
Yeah, I always call that the Light World archery game because I had no idea what it was in the vanilla location.
So Matt finds the restock room at the left side of the Elder's house. Having 0 bombs, he'll go through, at least get 4, I would think 8. There he goes. And we have the Smith at almost the optimal location at the right side of the race game building. You'd be able to mirror and pick them up right away there. We have a map as the race game prize. And I think it's called a prize in the hint. If you find something that says as a prize, I think that is always the race game. Mixed opinions on the value of maps. Some people, I would think a lot of people would go for that if they happen to be in the area but won't go out of their way for a map like that. But early crystal information is valuable.
As we see a vanilla well and the Lost Woods drop down at the Magic Bat location.
And we got a small key in that Lost Woods drop, so we're gonna have to remember that.
So that means the lumberjack item is hiding inside the pyramid today, which is annoying because you can't even scout out what the item is.
Yeah, it's not terrible that it's only one item, though. Better than it being the well or the uncle. And we have Spiral Cave at the Smith. I would think a lot of players would have skipped that for now, just because well, he does have the Moon Pearl and gloves, so he can do something on the other side of this, but you like to try to wait for the mirror before you do connectors.
Yeah, especially since he's going to have to walk back to Kakariko now to check all those other entrances in there. Speaking of the mirror, Matt the Ogre finds the Paradox Cave entrance that you can't do anything in without it.
Yeah, and we found the Spiral Cave led to the Turtle Rock Bridge, and we found the front of Turtle Rock in one of those entrances. That's okay. Yeah. I thought Matt was not going to scout the item there, but he goes back for it. He got a sword out of the well, by the way. That's a nice early find. Yeah, so Matt's doing what I think most players would do. He's leaving Spiral Cave for now. GFE is going to find nothing much except the well, trailing Matt the Ogre here. So we get out of the back of the tavern, we get the Ice Palace Big Key, which we know from a hint is useless. So that hint will not come into play. GFE will get that key and never have to worry about the Ice Palace Big Chest. So if he does not get that hint in Eastern early, it will not matter to him.
Chicken Hut entrance has another connector that we can come back and track down. That one's a little bit easier since it's not a one-way trip like the Spiral Cave is.
Yeah, with those, with most connectors, I will not take early. However, with that particular connector and the race game connector, I say in my head every time when I find those, I'm contractually obligated to check this connector just because it's so short. I like taking the chance of getting locked out on the other side just to have that information because it's quick to get.
Yeah, the length of time you're committing to those connectors is certainly an important consideration. The Thieves Town small key is in Blind's Hut, which was down here, I think, at the normal bomb shop in Kakariko. Because like the Elder's House and the Quarreling Brothers are just such a short trip compared to that one Death Mountain connector or walking through the back of Hookshot, something like that.
So, I'm actually not sure. I didn't catch the library the first time when GFE was on the screen. I can't imagine it's... Whoa, Meyer. Where was Meyer here?
Meyer is at the Chicken House, which Matt found and opted against going into, but GFE is going to bonk his way in and see what he can find.
Yeah, once again, I agree with Matt's decision to leave it here for now. You don't have the things you would want. You'd like a couple things. You'd like a fire source to do the left side. You'd like the big key to do the big chest. And of course, you need the cane to get to Vitreous. He's coming in here without even a small key to hit the crystal switch. So I don't agree with this play personally.
Yeah, and I think Matt didn't even have his sword when he found the mire entrance, so this was an even easier decision for him.
Yeah, sword to kill the wizards, or some other weapon to kill the wizards is necessary. Yeah, so we got the skull big key out of Ganon's tower. I missed that the first time around.
Lots of fetch quest keys early on.
Yeah, so without even a mire small key, well...
Whoa!
So despite the fact that I didn't like the play, tactically, we're getting an early bow out of it. He's still going to have to do a right, left, right to get all the chests that he can for now. And it's not clear whether having that bow early is really going to matter as long as Matt gets back to it in due course.
Yeah, we don't know where Pod is, and Eastern, we can't really do anything more than we have seen already without the big key, so that bow is not really immediate progression, but it is always good to know where that is.
Okay, so small key to Dark Palace there. Interestingly, I forget whether that what it takes for that bow to be in logic in that spike chest. I think, since I don't think it's actually possible with 3 hearts, I think you need something else, but I forget what it is. GFE, yeah, he's spending an extra key, and he had to think twice about it. He's now going to have to find a Myra small key in the item pool to be able to get to the left side, because he's spent a key that you often don't. So I did not see the Hylia Island item there.
I believe that was just a compass on the island, so...
Alright, so we've got Matt the Ogre at the laser eyewall entrance in... this is just north of Lake Hylia. We see GFE taking that connector at the chicken house. I think it was the chicken house. And it exits him on Dark East Death Mountain, the bottom. He gets 2 useless items out of the Mire Shed interior in the other entrance there.
That was through the, through the Elder's Hut there.
Wow, we have Vanilla Turtle Rock Big Key. That's not the worst thing to be there, but it's interesting. That is logically behind all 4 Turtle Rock small keys.
Yeah, that is sort of fascinating.
And so Matt doing the... So that Turtle Rock Big Key was not in logic without all 4 Turtle Rock small keys. That Chain Chomp chest is, however, in logic right away. All you need to do is to be able to walk through, which he did.
And Matt didn't even kill the Pokey, right? Just deciding against Fighter Sword Pokey.
I didn't notice, honestly, because of what was happening on GFE's screen, but it's not a terrible decision. With Turtle Rock, you often only need 1 key to do everything. So he's... And there are 4 keys in the pool, you often only need 1, so he's counting on the fact that he'll get 2. He may also want a 3rd to do other things. But it's not the worst thing to wait for.
Yeah, those of you watching last night, the 9 o'clock match, might have seen a whole lot of red cane pokey fights. That was quite the seed we saw. There's a Misery Mire small key, which will make Matt's trip into Misery Mire a bit easier than GFE's was, and the silver arrows.
Yeah, So this is Paradox Cave, which I think has to be at the cave directly south of Sahasra. I think it's called north of Lake Hylia in the hints. I didn't see him go in the entrance, but that's his natural next check based on where he was. Oh, no. Okay, no, that's just the exit. So one of the exits of Paradox Cave is the Dark Monk Rocks by Link's house.
So Matt's opting to continue his trip around the eastern area. I suspect he might come back here through that Dark World connector later. It's not the most item-rich or entrance-rich of locations, but you do have a guaranteed item on Stumpy, and you can check out like Hype Cave and Vanilla Swamp entrance. So might come back here fairly soon.
GFE, meanwhile, you don't like to do the South Shore without a glove, so that early glove out of, I forget where we got it, but it makes the South Shore much more appealing. So you can you can at least open all the entrances in the Ice Rod Cave area the first time you're there. Alright, so we've got Spectacle Rock Cave at Eastern. It's an interesting decision whether to take that or not, given how isolated Eastern is. I think I might have done it in that situation. Meanwhile, GFE gets the powder out of the Pyramid Ferry. This is under the rock in the Ice Rod Cave area. And he fills his bottle with a potion. He already has the bow, so he's not going to be doing any potion glitching.
Oh yeah, just multiple connectors over here in the backwoods of the Eastern Palace area.
Yeah, so GFE's this is going to be interesting for GFE. He can just bonk through this rail. He can also bomb jump to the big chest. All right, so
wow, 2-for-1 deal there on Matt the Ogre's side. Finds the other end of that connector through Eastern Palace. That was the exit from Spectacle Rock Cave, the bottom of it. So that worked out okay.
Yep, that saves him a long trip. So, but what's going to happen with GFE here? He's going to kill the Pokey, and he's going to get the Turtle Rock Big Key. So when he death warps from the Chain Chomp room, he will be able to check that big chest right away, and the Crystal Roller room. Something for Turtle Rock can be found on a monolith. That's one of the tablets. And we may have already seen this from Matt, but you have to be a little careful with that Pokey if you use Ether on him to freeze him, because you can get him so far into the wall that you cannot reach that small key. Not sure I've ever actually gotten it all the way, but if you go up into like the upper right corner, you can put that key out of reach, I think.
Yeah, it's also a little scary because he can just clip through like the rail if you're pushing him upwards. The hitbox goes a little bit crazy. Meanwhile, Matt did find the Eastern Palace Big Key in the Village of Outcasts, so that bow is going to come into play maybe sooner than we expected.
Yeah. That'll also mean GFE has a good chance of full clearing Eastern his first trip through. Because all he needs to do is find that Eastern Big Key, and he already has the bow. So GFE, we'll see if he knows this bomb jump. It looks like not. This is too far left for any version that I know works, but it's hard to tell with this sprite. There we go. He moved a little. This bomb jump is weird. There are 27 or so pixels that work, I think. Generally, you just learn one of them, and you learn your setup, and you learn sort of the window, but it's a bunch of columns of 4 vertical pixels, except the top column is 2 pixels, and the bottom column is 1 pixel. There we go. You found one of them, at least. gets Ganon's Tower small key out of the big chest, and we'll see the crystal roller room. While Matt the Ogre is doing the Skullwoods big key chest.
It's an inconvenient heart refill when he was set up for a death warp there.
So GFE is now, he should probably take this as a connector, and this will put him on the path to Eastern and I think Paradox Cave. We'll see what he wants to do with this. I think we got another Ganon's Tower small key out of Skullwoods there. So that's 2 already. So that Ganon's Tower is sitting on the library screen. We're probably going to want to go there.
Yeah, knowing where Ganon's Tower is, the small keys become a little bit more valuable than otherwise, but don't really have the items to access anything else in there at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, so GFE had to think a little bit about what he wants to do here, but he's, of course, going for the 7 items in Paradox Cave. We're going to get a sword. That was the major thing, I think. Castle Tower small key, not irrelevant, but
Meanwhile, I think Matt skipped past the Skullwoods big chest. I don't know if he's forgotten that he has that big key, or maybe we've gotten a hint about it that I missed.
no, I don't think we did. His routing just sort of took him through, and it is just so rare to have that big key the first time you're there. It's an easy thing to forget. Meanwhile, we've got a big key on the bumper ledge. Alright, so GFE is gonna find... This is the Blanc Rocks. Something interesting is over here. Something like the Eastern Big Key. Where is that? Like on Stumpy?
Eastern
no,
Big
that's...
Key is, yeah, Village of Outcasts somewhere.
Yeah, that's just north of the village. So this is not where he's gonna get that right away. Ooh, he does find Mini Moldern Cave at the bomb shop, though.
So yeah, this is the Dark World connector that Matt opted not to follow. Instead, he went deeper into the eastern area and found sort of northwest Dark World. But GFE is rewarded with the lamp for exploring South Dark World. Of course, Matt can just jump back down here after he's done up in the village.
Well, no, he won't be able to do now because the cave he's in is the Old Man Rescue. This is at the Curiosity Shop, the Red Shield Shop. And he has taken this, as I would, to rescue the old man and get that save warp right away.
Yeah, and the automatic west Death Mountain access.
So GFE now running around the Dark World with 1 heart. That can be dangerous. So we got 2 interesting things. I didn't catch what the green pendant was.
Wow, flippers and the hammer in Sahasrar's closet. That is a big find early for Matt. That's one of those things that'll open up a lot more checks in Ganon's Tower. Technically not in Logic without the hook shot, but you can do a lot of extra stuff in there with just a couple of bomb jumps.
Yeah, and you have the boots to skip most of the more obscure bomb jumps there.
And here's the swamp entrance with the normal exit of the Old Man Cave.
And our tracker is showing that it was Thieves Town that was the green pendant. Ooh, Matt. Matt has to be careful, and he may not have a choice about dying here if the bolt. Yep. Boulders get them.
Yeah, P-Train makes a good point in chat. He could have just dropped a couple of bombs on himself in the Swamp Palace entrance to die and get most of a health refill to make this trip a little bit easier for him. And unfortunately, the Old Man Cave lets out on the right side of Desert Palace, so a useless connector there.
Well, not totally useless. He hasn't checked the desert area, so he could go from there to the South Shore to the dam.
That's true. It's not an access connector, but it definitely can speed up your trip there if you want to be in the desert area.
So yet another Ganon's Tower small key in logic. That was there at the digging game. So looking like we're going to be in Ganon's Tower for something early, or at least logically. Alright, so we've got the dam here at what I think is the right mire shed. Either way, it's in the mire area. Okay, the cave, Dark Agona, rather than the shed. And he's done with the mire area.
More access to Tower of Hera, so that'll be full clearable when we get there if they feel like doing the basement. A lot of swamp is now in logic too, everything up to the left side until we find the hook shot. Oh, wait, no, sorry. No small key yet for swamp.
Yeah, also no big key, so it's not terribly attractive either way. We also saw that Quake was the medallion to open the mire entrance. GFE going for this fake flipper again. I'm not sure what's in this area for him.
Ooh, and we find Hype Cave under the rock by the desert area, and the Hype Cave NPC has the fire rod for us.
So that is between the two runners, all of the 5 item caves.
And Red Cane. That seems like the Misery Mire starter pack for Matt there. Really wants to find that big key before he goes into Mire now, though, so he can just one-shot the dungeon.
Yeah, I would not be waiting for the big key with, let's see, how many small keys? I think just one. I'm still not waiting, though, with the fire source. So he should, I would think he'll be getting in there shortly. And he has one key to make things as quick as they can be for now. Yeah, that's also a Ganon's Tower right side kit. And with 3 keys in logic, Cane and the Fire Rod, that puts Ice Armos in logic. All 3 chests. And the big chest, though we don't have the big key. Alright, so GFE now going to get those goodies out of Hype Cave. And he could be the first player to do something like that right side play.
This is really nice routing from Matt. He's sort of doing some flippers checks, but he remembered that Mimic Cave is right here in the Lake Hylia area, so he knocks that one out. Not really worth the trip, but good to check it off the list.
Yeah, so I missed that the first time through, but now Hobo Island, maybe Zora area, we'll see what he does. So GFE should be tempted now to go for Ganon's Tower. He could take the Paradox Cave and do. He hasn't done the eastern area the way Matt has. That's the way he got in. That's the way Matt got into the village. He's gonna do. This is Laser Bridge. Maybe I have it mismarked. because I don't think there's anything here for him. Oh, he hasn't found the front, so he's... Yeah, he maybe also mismarked it. Or rather, he mismarked it and I didn't. He was maybe thinking that was the front rather than the laser bridge. The front is actually on the Mimic Cave ledge. Or rather, the Turtle Rock Bridge, which he has found by taking Spiral Cave. That may be what he was thinking there. To clear out the front of Turtle Rock.
Those front 3 chests are all he has left in Turtle Rock besides Trinex, right?
Yep. Yeah, because he got the big key, so big chest and crystal roller room.
Ooh, unlucky death for Matt, those crabs over in the Ice Rod Cave area.
Yeah, GFE now looks like he's heading straight to Ganon's Tower. We'll see what he does. I don't think he... I think Matt actually has... Wow, so I think... Does Matt have all 4 GT keys? He has a bunch. Anyway, normally you need 2... There are 4 Ganon's Tower keys in the pool. You normally need 2. Or... You normally need 2. You can skip 1 on the way to Ice Armos on the right side, and you can always skip that middle door. So, if you want to take... Wow. So if you want to take the route to Ice Armos on the right side, you're going to need 3 keys, and it looks like that's what GFE is doing. Meanwhile, we find the mirror in Ice Rod Cave on the upgrade ferry on Lake Hylia Island.
Yeah, that's such a tough thing to check without the flippers. I mean, you can fake to it, but it's a dead end since you can't redo a fake flipper off the island unless you've stored a water walk or done some nonsense. It's probably possible, but a lot of work. So yeah, it's tough to get to without the actual flippers, but a big find for Matt.
And he's getting even more leverage out of the flippers. He's got a sword out of the Waterfall Fairy Cave, which had the chest game. Yeah, for the island, what I often end up doing is 2 fake flipper trips, one for the hobo and the island, and then another for Zora's area and the waterfall.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have the flute, and you can just flute right back to 8 after a save and quit that barely loses you any time to check both of them, but unfortunately not available to our runners just yet.
Yeah, so GFE is indeed going to go through to Ice Armos. He's got the bow, so the fight won't be difficult. Couple things, though, he'll have to worry a little bit more about Ganon's Tower small keys compared to Matt. And he will be orphaning the big chest here, unless he gets the big key out of Ice Armos. So there is a way to do this bridge to take no damage. Looks like GFE doesn't know it. You've got to you have to sort of manipulate the fire bars a little. Looks like he takes a death there, though. I don't know what he has in his bottle. I think just a B. We'll see if he continues. It's sort of expensive to get back there, but he doesn't have much of a lead on anything else. So I'm a little surprised he's still leaving.
Yeah, I've seen runners have a lot of trouble on that collapsing bridge in the last couple of races, because it is in logic, but it's tricky to do if you haven't practiced it and don't have any invulnerability items.
So he will just go back for the Firelock chest here in Mire. Yeah, unfortunately, we know that those Ice Armos chests are in logic, and fairly likely, in my opinion, given the sequence of items we've got them, fairly likely to be progression.
And yeah, we're seeing the downside of GFE's early trip into Misery Mire. He did find the bow, but he's setting himself up for a triple dip now if this turns out to be a Crystal Dungeon and we have to defeat Vitreous.
He won't be sad, of course, if this is progression.
Meanwhile, Matt is immediately jumping on some mirror checks, checking out the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb entrance here.
Yeah, so that right side falling tile room, you have to manipulate the spawn of the second fire bar a little bit. You have to sort of edge up, but not too far, and you have to edge down. You have to edge down when you first come in the room, and then edge up, but not too far on the second one, and you'll be able to dodge everything.
Meanwhile, we're seeing Matt make his way to the south side of the Dark World here, which he has not been to yet since he found a different connector. But this will also be...
All right, so you cut off there after telling
the pipe here.
Okay, so we didn't quite catch all of that, but he can do a bunch of this stuff now with the mirror that GFE was not able to do.
Yeah, sorry, I might have been talking over you because Discord was doing weird things to me there for a second.
You were not talking over me because you cut out completely.
Well, that's a different problem then. Yeah, just commenting on the top of the pyramid mirror location, which Matt's working his way toward right now, and going to stop at GT along the way.
Yeah, so GFE is now going for what I thought he was going for before. He's making his way through this cave, and that will get him to the front of Turtle Rock. Meanwhile, Matt is now in Genna's tower with the full complement of things. Oh, he only has one tower key. I'm sorry, one tower key. It's not going to matter for him, given what he probably wants to do. He only needs one key to full clear the basement with the mirror and hammer. He will be hard opening that big chest, though. It's not a terrible thing to do, although as recently as last night I got killed in a race for it. But there is likely to be a hint for that in the pool, and it's sort of too important to get all these items out of the Guinness Tower basement to risk trying to put this place off, waiting for the big key. Yeah, so Matt won't have to do that, although we'll see if he gets there alive. He's down to one heart here. He won't have to do that room that GFE died in. He will have to redo this torch puzzle, though. He only has one heart to get past this spike. He needs this spike to help him out. And not get killed by the fire shooter. We'll see what he does with this. I would think he'll go back right away. There's a full magic. Yeah, going back right away. Right, so that's nothing for GFE out of the front of Turtle Rock. That feels really bad because he'll probably feel like what he should have done was go back and do this right side again in his tower. So he's going somewhere now. Probably to check out the other exit of Paradox Cave. That won't be bad for him. That'll get him to the Village of Outcasts, and he'll be able to rescue the old man. No, this is not that.
Yeah, but these are also connectors that'll lead him over into Village of Outcasts. I don't think he made it as far as the Eastern Palace or Flute 5 Cave, so...
Yeah, he has not been in the eastern area at all. So it's one of these Spectacle Rock entrances at Eastern. He could be baited into taking that, although we know it's... he doesn't have to. The Flute 5 will take him to the same place, and is a connector right next door. Alright, so this is a strange decision for my money on Matt's part here. He's going through the right side, despite that the fact that he has the boots. to do the left side. He would only need to do a couple.
Ooh.
And he dies. Yeah, so to do the left side, he would only need to do a single bomb jump up to the Stalfos room, and then a single bomb jump in the Fire Snake room to get to the Randa room. He is bailing out, so I guess he doesn't know those bomb jumps. And yeah, as chat points out, he spent the key that he had. He spent the one key, so now he would have to orphan, say, the Fire Snake room if he wanted to do the left side of GT. So GFE now in the Village of Outcasts. This will get him. What will it get him? Something good was up in the north of the village in that fortune teller.
Yeah, the fortune teller is the front of Old Man, so he can follow that up to Death Mountain, which is where the flippers and hammer were for Matt.
No, the Old Man Rescue is actually at the Red Shield shop. It's called the fenced-in building in the hints. The fortune teller has some item that's useful.
Oh yeah, fortune teller has the Eastern big key, I believe.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. And that'll give GFE everything he needs to full clear Eastern. That's right by Sanctuary, so he can do that right away. So he's going north now. He'll get that big key. Maybe do a bit of Skull Woods. I thought there was more in there than... I thought we saw 2 Guinness Tower keys, but that's not possible because Matt only had 1 when he went into the Guinness Tower. So GFE will feel pretty good about that he avoided the double dip of Eastern, and his double dip of, or possibly triple dip of Mire won't feel so bad given that he got the bow to avoid the double dip of Eastern. So Matt, was that the big key or small key of thieves down there? And I think it was just a small, right?
I'm not sure. He's got both of them now, so.
Big key.
Big key, one of our trackers is saying.
Alright, so GFE maybe now just realizing that he has a Skullwood's big key. Matt actually didn't realize it the first time he was in here. So I'm gonna go back for that chest probably after getting this pot key. Alright, so that's both runners that have found all the 5-item caves. I think they have also both found all the 2-item caves, the Mire Shed and 2 fairies. And lamp was the only thing interesting in here. So that makes entrances that aren't dungeons a bit less valuable. So this would be the point where experienced players would be changing their attitude towards checks. They would be looking in dungeons rather than trying to clear overworld. At least other than fixed items. I smell something burning. I need to go for a minute.
Yeah, we'll let Hycotype take care of that. Matt is shifting his focus a little bit, is going to head into Ice Palace now and see what we can do in here. No small keys, unfortunately, so that's going to make get into the right side a little annoying without hook shot. Might have to do some extra bomb jumping. GFE did open that Skullwoods chest. I didn't see what was in there. Not seeing anything earth-shattering on the tracker there. So Matt might get away with skipping that one. Ooh, Matt failing the Ice Palace bomb jump on the first try there. GFE checking out Sick Kid and just getting 50 bucks out of it. Just steal the kid's life savings and leave, that's fine. And Matt is going to dive right back into Ice Palace. GFE's not going to do the old man rescue just yet. Has a couple more entrances to check in this area of the world, but I assume he will be back there very soon, since that will guarantee him access to Western Death Mountain.
I am back. The thing that is burning is not my problem. Looks like Matt died there in Eastern, because I saw him enter a room that had an open chest. Is that true?
Yeah, we had some bomb jump issues.
Yeah, 6 heart ice. I mean, depends how people feel about it, but I would just unquestionably do that. Unquestionably full clear a dungeon like this.
6 heart ice I can do. 6 heart cold stare, maybe less so.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a invulnerability item, and that hurts, but you do have the half magic to use your fire rod quite a bit.
Yeah, his weaponry is definitely going to be sufficient for that fight. Also, he's better at this game than me, so, you know, there's that too.
So, let's see. Did we see this hint? Probably. Anyway, GFE is going to get his hammer and flippers out of Saucerl in a second here. And its tower leads to the potion shop, so we're probably not turning in that mushroom. We can save it for fake powder, except GFE already has the powder. So Matt's doing an old version of this bomb jump. This is actually much easier these days. You can just do a spin setup and you can just face left and plant it, and that works. You must be on the bottom pixel, so how you get there is usually a spin setup. It looks like he doesn't actually know the spin setup. Doesn't even have the powder, so there is at least 1 heart in a pot, maybe 2 down here. I would expect him to get that. He does not. Every heart's valuable. I think that's a mistake to skip those. Small key to desert there.
Yeah, because Matt also has no potions, so he's running on empty here health-wise. As GFE finds Thieves Town for us also, and has the hammer in both keys, so can clear everything out of here.
Yeah, so that's interesting, because Matt died on the mountain. He had the opportunity to take a Death Warp in Swamp, which he skipped. So he missed all these all the rest of these checks on West Death Mountain. Maybe sort of worked out for him. I'm not sure what he had at the time in terms of Thieves Town items, but he wouldn't have been able to full clear it, I don't think. While GFE does have everything to full clear it.
And Matt skipping that IP Big Chest because of the hint we saw earlier that it's just a heart piece. Although, I don't know, if he's on 3 heart pieces, that refill might come in pretty handy right now.
He's going to show us something that is... no, he's not. You can drop into those pots there that he just passed, and that is a room with fairies, so you can always get to Cold Stare with full health. Alright, so he's doing a sword out strats on ice. I've never seen that. Normally with boots, that's just the easiest way to do that. So he'll drop here. We'll see if he knows or wants to go for those fairies in the pots. So if he were to go north through this room, just fall down near one of the pegs. Yeah, okay, so he's going to go for the fairies. Our tracker shows that Matt does not even have... Yeah, and his personal tracker. Same thing. No bottle for Matt yet. Nice. Sword
GFE
at...
sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say GFE finding our 4th sword there in Thieves Town.
Yeah, I forget what sword Matt has that GFE doesn't. Yeah, Matt is on green mail according to his personal tracker. So he has 7 hearts. Cold Stare Hugs do 4, the Falling Ice does 2. So he can take 2 hits. 1 from ice, 1 from a hug, and that's it. So no more hits. 1 hit KO for him now. He's being very cautious here. 1 more puff. He's not... Yeah, so what you want to do, he wasn't quite doing it there. To be careful with the falling ice, you can move at sort of 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 5 o'clock, sort of between the pure diagonals and the cardinal directions. And we've got dueling pendant pickups there. GFA, I believe, knew that was a green pendant, and he can go straight back to Saraswat to turn that in. But we get a bottle and a otherwise useless pendant off of Cold Stare.
It especially hurts that Thieves Town was right there, because Matt was about 2 steps from that entrance when the cabbage got him when he was up on Death Mountain before, so...
So another bottle from Sasrala. So our pendant boss is turning into bottles. Ooh, another dungeon here on Death Mountain. Matt actually has the Hera small key from somewhere that I no longer remember. And he'll be able to full clear... I think they both have the big key, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they do. So GFE will have to orphan this, the tile room, the basement chest. That's almost always going to be your last check when you orphan it. But Matt will be able to full clear here. The fenced-in building is the Curiosity Shop, the Vanilla Red Shield Shop, sort of between the Village of Outcasts and Pyramid.
Well, Matt making up for that crab death when he was here in here before in the light world, but now has the red cane to make getting across this gap much easier, and he can check out anything else he wants to in Turtle Rock right now.
he's actually already... I think he's already got the crystal roller room. Now that I actually don't think so. I don't think he ever went backwards with the cane. Yeah, so yeah, I made the same mistake thinking that fenced-in building was the Hammer Pegs and Village of Outcast. I think that the hint for that entrance actually says the peg-blocked house or something very explicit.
And GFE takes full advantage of that tempered sword, making short work of Moldorm, just a slash and a spin.
We got our first crystal an hour in, although it is our second dungeon.
Yeah, hour in seems about right for cross keys.
So I don't think we saw anything interesting in the Dark Ice Rod Cave area. We found the Spike Cave in the cave south of the pod area. I guess we got a map check from GFE at some point. We know desert is a crystal. And we have actually found Lanmo's entrance. That is at the race game. We're going to see what's really going to be hurting. I guess it won't hurt too bad because he was able to be up here where Matt died, but the mirror is one of the most valuable items in this mode that is at the Lake Hylia Island. It's the Ice Rod Cave at the Upgrade Ferry entrance. And GFE needs to get that to be able to clear the world somewhat efficiently. Alright, so our tracker reminding me that Tower of Hera's small key is at the dam. The dam is in the Mire area, Dark Agonist Cave, I believe. You can get there with the Old Man's Save Warp, so I would think GFE will be on the track to that, although having already full cleared Hera, probably won't make it a priority to go back for that.
Yeah, he's right now doing what Matt wanted to do, which was clear out all of West Death Mountain as soon as you get there. Would not be surprised if he exits here by saving and quitting to the Old Man to check out what that is. As now finally Matt is going to make his way up to the top of the pyramid for these three entrances you can mirror to.
Yeah, and GFE finds Hookshot Cave at the Spike Cave entrance. Ooh, good hint. Magic Bat leads to a key to Castle Tower. So Magic Bat, I don't have that marked. But wherever it is, oh. So Sanctuary is at the Lumberjack drop. We may want that tower key. Although we're probably going to hope to steal the key, maybe save scum it, or otherwise get around that with the Hyrule Castle key, the sewers key, which neither player has at this point.
Ooh, Matt finding the back of Skull Woods, which has the mitts. Gonna Death Warp out to refill his health a little bit for the Mothula fight, because he does have the one Skullwood small key from his trip in the front, so can make it to Mothula here.
Alright, and we have the big key to Desert Palace on the bumper ledge, and you get there from Hookshot Cave on Dark West Death Mountain.
GFE's doing the thing. We're gonna see at a hover attempt.
Yeah, that does not look like he's consistent enough to be able to do this, get these chests.
Yeah, it's tempting, because with just one hover, you can bonk to 2 more chests, but not quite working out today.
Skullwood's another crystal there. Looks like GFE is going for Mimic Cave here. And Skullwoods is something like the one. It's one of these doors on top of the castle. Yep, there we go. Not the best hint. In fact, I would personally prefer to see some of those chests just totally removed from the hint pool. Like, whatever's in Sanctuary, I don't care. I got that right away. Similarly, the Link's House hint, I'm not sure those should be in the pool.
My favorite was the other day, that tree guy was behind the crack in the pyramid, behind the big bomb, and then the hint was the crack in the pyramid leads to a storyteller. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that'd be a little more work to take out hints like that. But it should be doable. But for now, that's sort of not the biggest priority. So we didn't see anything else real interesting at the top of Castle Tower. We have the other end of Spectacle Rock. I don't remember the item. I don't think it was useful.
Yeah, I think that was Matt's first inclination too, but he's opting to go back in for the hint, it looks like.
And we've got the mirror now from GFE, so he can make some progress. So that's... knowing that, it's probably going to be worth it for him to get when he's there. It'll save... well, let's see. He's got a lot of bosses left, so as long as he's there early enough that it would be worthwhile to get. A little bit of safety on Ganon, a little bit of time save, maybe especially on Trinex and Vitreous. There's the fourth sword that GFE didn't have.
Just raised an interesting point, though. Matt also knows that Thieves' Sound is a pendant. Is that going to make him more inclined? I mean, certainly more inclined to just skip the back of Thieves' Town once he finds it. How would you be feeling about that right now?
Given that it is the green pendant, I don't think we have a hint for what Sosrala has. So that's adds an item, and Thieves' Town is one of the shorter dungeons. I would think... I'd have mixed feelings. It'd sort of depend if I had the flute, because that would get me there fast, so I could sort of defer it and come back right away. But in their positions, I would sort of expect them to full clear it. It's going to depend when he gets back there and what he has when he does.
Yeah, this is true. It's such a pain to get to West Death Mountain in this seed that you are certainly more tempted to just do absolutely everything you can once you get there and never come back.
So GFE is now going to do his single pass full clear of Eastern. Matt still does not have that bow out of Mire, and given that he's got the fire source in Samari, he's probably trying to wait for that Mire big key. Let's see where it is. Okay, so now he's going back to West Death Mountain. He's going to find Thieves. Given that he's going back so early, I expect him to full clear it. And then he has the Mirror and Hammer. He can do the East Death Mountain. I'm not sure we saw... yeah, GFE did not have the Mirror, so he was not able to do that the first time he was here. But this is now a ton of entrances for Matt. He also has the Mitts and Hammer, so he can open Turtle Rock, open that portal, be able to full clear Dark East Death Mountain.
Yeah, although I think we've seen a connector to Dark East Death Mountain, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, the bottom of it. We've seen the bottom of it, but maybe not from both players. Yeah, I'm not sure Matt chose to take that connector. That's in Kakariko. I'm not sure he ever actually took that connector. Alright, so the big chest that Matt orphaned, not a problem. And that would be his biggest problem if that were progression, because he would not be tempted to go back for that without the bow.
Matt's also really hoping to find the swamp small key somewhere up here too, because I feel like he would love to get some of that done. Again, without the hookshot, not going to full clear it, but there are a lot of items in the front section.
He has the mirror, so it's easy for him to make the choice to just get these front four and bail. I kind of don't expect that, but we'll see what choice he makes.
Yeah, I forgot too how close Sahasrara is to the Thieves' Town entrance as well, so that turning in that green pendant is super fast as well.
Yeah, so he's going straight for it. Seems like the right play to me in most situations. But sort of early mid-game, not a hard choice. There was no progression here, if I remember, so it's really only valuable if the pedestal is an item we need. I guess the sword... Well, no, we've already seen Sahasrara. We know that's a bottle from GFE. Excuse me, from Matt. Or no, it was GFE. So they both have bottles, so that's not going to be our progression.
And Eastern Palace earns GFE his second crystal. That also means Matt will not be able to get away with single dipping Eastern Palace, so that'll be some time he has to reinvest later.
Between the two, we almost have... We just need to know our last pendant, and we know 4 crystals. You know, all the Light World dungeons are crystals on top of Skullwoods. Oh, we can do Trinex. I forgot about that. So
Yeah,
here we go.
We found Ice Rod pretty early. I don't know if that guarantees Pendant Turtle Rock in Cross Keys or not.
Generally, because Trinex is so much more likely to have progression in entrance, just because, and especially in Keysanity, just because you can usually get to him so much more easily than in non-entrance. See if GFE... No, I'm not going to switch to Fire Rod in time to get the 1 cycle. Or 0 cycle, excuse me. So what's this chest? Something. Okay, Bombos not worthless. We haven't seen from either runner the medallion for Turtle Rock Main. Although I think we have a hint that that was nothing. I think that might have said fairies deep in a cave.
I think that's Ice Palace, is fairies deep in a cave.
No, that is true. I mean, well, Trinex is always locked by 4 Turtle Rock small keys. No matter what, just because you can spend all your keys elsewhere and not have enough. In addition, the Turtle Rock big key was locked behind all 4 Turtle Rock small keys. So we have a double lock. We got them. I'm not sure how we... Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, Trinex took him to the front of Turtle Rock, and he's using this opportunity to mirror check the Mimic Cave and Ledge. And so he'll be able to jump down and check a lot of East Death Mountain this way.
That's another really nice piece of routing to just take advantage of that getting warped back to the front of the dungeon, wherever the entrance happens to be.
Yeah, so Matt mutters to himself a little bit. You guys can't see his face cam, but we can. Not happy about that second pendant. I think he knew that, though. But maybe he's just feeling bad about 2 pendants. Not checking Saucerler right away. That's interesting. I guess he's planning to check... Since he's planning to check the Dark World West Death Mountain, he can just sort of mirror in front of that entrance while he's down there. Alright, so that is our first look at Hyrule Castle, I think. Don't think we found any other entrance. Alright, so Skull and Swamp are our red crystals.
Meanwhile, I think we do actually have the Swamp Small Key. I feel like I have been talking about it as if we didn't have it, but it's there on the tracker, so I must have just missed us getting it.
I'm not sure when we got that. I think we actually... I did not see the hint there. Something led to fairies. Alright, so I feel like I didn't see this middle entrance from GFE behind the Mitts lock, the Dark Rocks. But I guess I didn't see a lot of entrances here. Yeah, so Matt has beaten Mothio, but I don't think he has actually menued to be sure. He doesn't have it marked on his tracker that Skullwoods is a red crystal, so he actually doesn't know yet. Our trackers have been doing something I fully support, which is tracking what the runners know rather than what we know as viewers. So Matt technically does not know that that Skullwoods crystal is red.
Yeah, a weird little downside of Quick Swap that you just never see your pause menu to keep track of those things.
Interesting, yeah. So I said since the beginning, Sanctuary is at the Lumberjack, so we might be seeing some key steal shenanigans, and that is exactly what GFE does. He gets the boomerang chest, grabs the key, and mirrors, so he orphans that Zelda's shell chest. Sort of a... yeah... tricky call. I would actually try to maybe avoid this entirely, or Death Warp and save scum it, something like that, instead of what he did. But this is a reasonable choice. Let's see, what mail does he have? He has blue mail, so it would have been a long Death Warp. Yeah, what you can do at the front of a dungeon, you can die and you can save and quit. That sets your save point right away. Then you can full clear and just reset at the end if you get nothing. Then you can come back and steal the key. That is what I generally prefer to do with Desert and the Castle. So we said GFE had to orphan the Hera big key chest in the basement there. Luckily for him, it turned out to be nothing. Also, luckily for him, that key steal turns into the Meyer big key. That is that is interesting. We're not sure what our last pendant is, so we'll have to see. I did not see where that castle entrance was. Oh no, he hasn't checked the others yet, so this is our first look.
And that definitely plays into Matt's thought process, because we know Misery Meyer is holding the bow for him, and that big key is the thing that's definitely going to say, go to Misery Meyer already, if he doesn't before then. But that's a ways into things, based on where we are right now, especially since I forget now how GFE got into Hyrule Castle exactly. But
that's on East Death Mountain, so Matt's on his way. However, he may, of course, not do that key steal. So GFE did the key steal to get that Meyer big key. He's the one that has already been... wow. Okay. So Ganon's Tower big key. Neither runner has really orphaned that big chest. I think they both had problems. So we'll be seeing that check from both, I would think. So GFE no longer needs to full clear Aga Tower. It's also showing us that you can pick up a bomb. When you're carrying any object, you can walk through your mirror portal. So he gets around it that way.
Meanwhile, I think Matt's going to get into Hyrule Castle a lot more easily right here, just mirroring on top of Bumper Ledge. So yeah, we'll see now what he does with this small key. Because again, the save scumming is a lot more annoying in Hyrule Castle, just because it's such a long trip down to Zelda's cell, than it would be like for something like the right side of desert, which is just a much shorter trip to spend the key.
Yeah, so GFE looks like he's heading back to one or both of two places. He's got this has to be a pedestal check. There's nothing else back here. Yeah, so he just got the book out of Hyrule Castle. He's checking the pedestal. And then after that, what I thought he would be doing is going to either one or both of Meyer and Kakariko and Ganon's Tower on the library screen. Right, so Matt looks like he's stealing the key relatively shallow. He didn't go to the boomerang chest. Oh, I don't think we got progression out of there, so it doesn't matter. And he didn't mirror, which is a strange decision. I missed the pedestal, but I don't think it was anything. Let's go with small key. Well, that is logically required. You need all these Skullwood's keys to logically beat Mothula. That's an interesting bit of information, because that means a couple things. Logically, you're going to get signals that you need to beat all the pendant dungeons to beat the seed. We know that's not true. Crack in the pyramid, we have a hint that that leads to nothing, so Skullwood's being one of the red crystals, we're not going to get sort of any signals either way for that. Alright, so what's GFE doing? Looks like he's going to beat Meyer here. Unfortunately, this makes it a triple dip for him, where Matt has not been in there at all. Matt, however, did not convert his key steal. He stole the key, but did not go to the back.
Yeah, I think he's just checking out these entrances at the base of the mountain first, and then he's going to head back into Hyrule Castle, because he was, it looked like intentionally taking a lot of damage there to set up a potential death warp for the save scum.
Yeah, so maybe he's doing the save scum. You've seen the other side of this. This leads to Kakariko. There you go. Key to ice in the big chest. Not interesting. So here he goes. Yeah. So he should die here. There's a guard right up there that's easier to die on. I would expect him to die right away. Yeah. Die right away. Reset if the back is nothing. He will not reset getting that Meyer big key. What's he gonna do here? Maybe he changed his mind about the save scum. Maybe he's gonna go to Zelda's cell now. Nope. So he'll get the Meyer big key and not want to reset. So none of that's gonna matter. So GFE will have silver arrows for Vitreous. That's not going to be a challenge. If somehow he misses a bunch of arrows, he still has the gold sword. I may have lost Cool Papa Bill here.
No, I'm just watching. I was about to say, this does put Matt in pretty good shape to catch up with GFE on crystals, because you expect when he finds this Meyer big key that now he can full clear that dungeon, that he'll wind up there pretty soon, and then that'll lead him to finish Eastern after he finds the bow, you would think also.
I was looking for a reaction there from him on the Meyer big key, but I didn't get one. But not resetting. Checking the other entrance. This is, where does this lead? I don't have it marked. Oh, no, it leads to the laser bridge exit. He can just mirror here, check these other entrances. This is Agate Tower. This will get him the Yenon's Tower big key. Now,
Those poor ball and chain guards have no idea what hit him there with the butter sword.
Yeah, so this is possibly a mistake. Because the way he got here was he took the hookshot cave to the bumper ledge, mirrored, and went through Hyrule Castle. But by mirroring again, he lost his portal there on the bumper ledge, so he cannot now go back and clear the top of East Dark Death Mountain. So I think that was a mistake there. And we got, I believe, crystals at Pod and Mire there. That might give us, at least from our perspective, full crystal information.
Yeah, actually, we had that already because we saw GFE get the pendant off of Trinex, and we saw the pendant drop from Cold also. I hadn't really looked at that since then, though.
Yep. So we have full crystal information. Both runners are actually missing one piece of the puzzle. GFE does not know between Pod and Ice, and Matt does not know between Eastern and Desert, and Turtle Rock for that matter. Right, so
That's
GFE,
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
GFE now doing the bomb jumps on the left side of GT. And he has plenty of keys now, so I forget who made what mistake on the right side of GT, but it's not going to matter now because they got so many keys.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, the fact that the pod map is in play somewhere probably works out pretty well for GFE. If he winds up doing that map check, he will know that he doesn't necessarily have to complete Ice Palace today, which was a pretty big time sink for Matt at this point.
Yeah, and I don't think we got any progression whatsoever out of Ice. So Matt has a good chance here of avoiding Ice entirely. Yeah, so they both burned the key on the right side without getting to Ice almost. Oh, we did get the small key to Desert. So it's logically required. Yeah, I'm sorry, I may have misspoken there. So Matt full clear to Ice. And one of our trackers here is reminding me that we got the Desert small key out of Ice, but otherwise no progression. That Desert small is logically required for Lambo, but practically speaking, we may not need it at all. As long as there are no items on the right side of Desert Main. So GFE,
and again, as long as we have the entrances, that Desert right side is easily save scummable, so...
Yeah, although... Let's see. If GFE finds it... I'm not sure we saw this... Yeah, so... It's not going to matter to Matt. GFE, when he finds it, is going to be tempted to clear it because it's the race game. It's sort of out of the way for him. He won't want to come back, and he's able to beat Lanmo his first time, and he knows it's a crystal. So I don't think we will see the key steal out of GFE. So faster to when you have the mirror, it is faster to check the big chest and then do Ice Armos. We get the flute, so not orphaning the big chest is working out. That flute will not be required. We already have access to the Mire area and Death Mountain, but the Death Mountain access, at least, is not great, so that's a convenient item. I am not sure that we have seen Pod from either player.
Yeah, the pod entrance is still at large as far as I know.
Yeah, so I have... And we got Quake there out of the double firebar room. Quake is the required medallion for the Misery Mire entrance. So we should get a flute activation here, and then I think GFE's next find will be Desert at the race game.
One thing, because I think the mire access was also a little bit of a pain to get to, and I don't believe our runners had the mirror when they were there before, so that will make it easier for GFE to get back there and check several of those entrances on the desert ledge.
Actually, mire access is dead easy. That is the old man safe warp.
Ah, never mind then.
So I'm not sure which side of it that is. I'm actually not... I actually think that is the... I think the front is Desert Right, and then the back side is Mire. I have that mismarked on my tracker, so I'm not totally sure. First, look at the pod area for GFE, I think. I'm not sure what he has. He's got the cape, at least. Not sure what he has in his bottles, but he should be able to do Spike Cave, which Matt skipped when he first found it. Pod
And there is that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, there is that complete information for GFE, so he's going to do his best to stay out of Ice Palace now, knowing that that's the last pendant.
Yeah, so... Let's see. Sort of mixed early on who had a lead. Each did dips that the other did not. GFE sort of missed out on some items that Matt had earlier. So it was maybe an advantage for Matt early on, but now GFE has a pretty good opportunity to stay out of ice entirely. Meanwhile, he did not mirror at the... I'm not sure what he's done in terms of mirror checks south of the Village of Outcasts. So hopefully he hasn't forgotten that. But either way, he has... he's not found Desert yet. So Matt now going to do the left side here of GT. He's going to get... I'm not sure we got much interesting other than Quake to open the Mire entrance. Probably the cape. That's probably where GFE has his cape that he is now using in Spike Cave.
Yeah, I believe Cape is in Dark Magician's room up here. Ooh, which Matt is skipping. It is not in logic officially, so...
Yeah, but I mean, the way he bomb jumped it, I mean, what this says to me is that he just doesn't know that bomb jump, and that's kind of a problem for this mode. Yep, flute is in the big chest. That is a convenience item, but not progression. And yeah. I guess if he doesn't know that Stalfos room bomb jump, it seems unlikely that he knows this Fire Snake room bomb jump.
I was going to say, he's just heading forward like he knows this one, so...
That's strange to me. No, I mean, they're very similar. I think they're, in fact, the same, except one is on a vertical, one's on a horizontal.
I mean, I feel like with the Fire Snake room there, kind of all you have to do is just back up as close as you can to the edge and drop a bomb. There's not really any up or down that you have to worry about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the only difference is that one's vertical and one's horizontal. It's a 2-pixel window for both. There we see the cape in the random room, so not the Stalfos room.
Ah, okay.
I think we may have actually seen the mushroom out of the Stalfos room. That, however, is not going to matter at all because the potion shop is at Ganon's Tower. So they both have all the medallions to open every entrance now. Looks like we have inside information from chat that Matt has been practicing those Ganon's Tower bomb jump, but is not fully comfortable with them yet.
Meanwhile, GFE has cleared up one big knowledge gap, which is where the back of Skull Woods is, so he will get Mothula out of the way right away. He was a little behind on some of these entrances that Matt had already checked while GFE was busy clearing dungeons, so we'll just see how quickly those gaps between the runners close up.
He also gets the mitts. I'm not sure he has ever actually checked the old man's save warp, so he doesn't know that he has easy access to the mire area, so that'll help him. Yeah, so chat was pointing out earlier, interesting decision whether or not we go upstairs GT. We have everything to do it, but nobody likes going upstairs GT. There's only one extra item in the pyramid drop. That might be... let's see. Yeah, I think Matt just got full crystal information.
Yeah, we saw both Eastern and Desert on his map there. All that's really going to save him is not defeating Trinax, but it might point him toward these dungeons very quickly as opposed to making any other sorts of checks first. That pod entrance, though, is really the big thing.
And honestly, beating Trinax is not a terrible decision anyway. That laser bridge entrance is much more accessible than the other way to get to front of Turok, so it might just be the fastest way to get that one check off of Trinax and then get to the front of Turok, which is 3 more checks. I don't think we saw any progression there, but if he wants to do those checks, he might just end up beating Trinax anyway. But he's going to go beat Eastern now. So pod entrance still at large. We have a few options. I don't think we've seen... We're missing a lot of the desert entrances.
Yeah, I think Desert Ledge is our biggest concentration of entrances left.
We also have the top of East Death Mountain. I don't think we've seen either the light or dark of that. So that's another 3 eligible entrances. And then, of course, there's a 5th, but that has to be a connector, the floating island entrance. Have we seen any of Desert Main? I think we've peeked in there, but never gone through it. I don't have it marked anywhere on my tracker. So one would think one of those, at least, is the floating island.
Yeah, and this is very unscientific, but I swear there's always a dungeon on the Desert Ledge. Usually swamp in my experience, but it just feels like it winds up there so much.
So we can get to... Is there any entrance we cannot open? We know Ganon's Tower is nothing. We know the crack in the pyramid is nothing. We have all the medallions. There is no entrance we cannot open. And that's true for both runners. It's just a matter of finding it rather than the item to open it.
Yeah, question in chat about potion and mushroom. We have seen the magic bat. I think that was a Ganon's Tower small key, and the potion shop is behind all 7 crystals, so we won't need to worry about that one today.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you might ever need to open Ganon's Tower for is a sword. By the time you get all the crystals, or for that matter, I guess. I'm trying to think if you could ever need a fire source. I've never thought about this, but my thought is not.
Yeah, I think there's also a weird chance that, like, if there's a vanilla Ganon, hookshot could theoretically be behind the Ganon's Tower vanilla entrance. Some crazy nonsense like that. It would have to be a really weird seed for that to happen.
Yeah, you could need that to get to... That could be either Aghanim's Tower or Ganon's Tower to get to a drop for Ganon. But just an item, it's useless. as long as we have more than 2 swords, or more than 1 sword for that matter. So Mire area, this will be our first look at the desert. Yep, boots, there's another option. Boots could be at the Ganon's Tower to open the lumberjack. Yeah, so this is the dam here, I think that GFE is going into. So what? Let's see. We know swamp is a crystal, so we know we need the hook shot. I think. Let's see, what else do we need?
Pod Big Key is the only other item that we are in desperate need of.
And nothing else in terms of keys. So I think both runners now are only the Pod Big Key and hook shot from Go Mode. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. We need to find Pod. But no matter where it is, we can get there. So tower, we could... Let's see. GFE is still the key, so he could technically need the Hyrule Castle key to get one of those Go Mode items in Zelda's Cell. Since he stole the key, he needs the Sewers key to get those. Yeah, so there's the back of the old man save warp in the Mire area. Yeah, Matt knows where Landmolus is. That is at the race game left side. GFE has not found that yet. So Matt going after another small key here in the Magic Bat drop. Pod. Interesting to think what pod keys we have. GFE has 4. So if he does some shenanigans, he can full clear pod. He can avoid opening the main door and do the hammer jump to skip 2 keys.
Yeah, I think you can do it with 3, but it involves a lot of save scumming and doing the right side like 3 times or some nonsense that you really don't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, so we got the desert big key here. And I think this is our first look at the items in the back of desert. So I don't think we've seen that was our first look at that heart piece, and we haven't seen the big chest yet. Well, I mean, you can save scum many keys in pods, so you could need really only 1. No, you need 2. You could full clear with 2 and save scumming.
Yeah, you need 4 to do it in any reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, although I would think if you... Okay, that was armor with something. I missed it. So here we go. Here's the Mire entrance. This is a little bit orphaned for Matt. Not terrible to get back to, but not going to be one of his priorities. Armor in here. Yeah, we've seen that. Not pod. That's yet another connector. I think we've seen the other... No? Don't know whether we've seen the other side of that. Yeah, but my preference in this mode is almost... Oh, there's the other side of that connector.
Wow.
So it just takes you from one world to the other.
It's an amusing connector to have.
Alright, so what do we need? What am I thinking about here? I'm not sure either player... Have we seen the dam, the sunken treasure? What you get from draining the dam?
I think Matt has picked that one up, but I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I would think
GFE just drained the dam.
Yeah. So GFE gonna take these desert connectors. Probably gonna find the floating island. And that will lead us to the second high density of remaining entrances for pod. Yeah, there's a floating island. We haven't seen this item, I don't think, on the floating island. So now he's in the dark world. He can check the 2 entrances on top in the dark world, 1 in the light world, and Turtle Rock Main, which I think we may have a hint is nothing. I think it's... Oh, it doesn't matter.
Bingo.
So...
No big key yet.
Yeah, no big key, so interesting decision about how to spend his keys. I would be... So I think what I would do is I would open the front door and... I guess I would go right side first. But I would open the front door there and full clear the back. And then I would probably Death Warp and Save Scum the big key chest there. And just taking the chance that I don't need that 5th pod key. Okay, so meanwhile, Matt is going for Swamp. So this is, where is this? Yeah,
this is on Death Mountain. Yeah.
So this is easy to get to. So a little bit of a give and take here. He won't be able to go mode this. He'll have to decide whether or not to skip the left side. He does have the big key, so we'll have to skip that at least.
Given that Matt knows where Landmo is, I am sort of surprised to see him not finish that off. It's only 1 item, but it is a boss you're going to have to beat at some point, and if that's the hook shot, then you definitely want to do that before you come here.
Yeah, so GFE is routing pod in a way that I guess he's playing in a full clear. Full clear leaves himself a key. Oh, I may have covered my mic there. Sorry about that. He may... Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So that would have killed me. Oh, and Matt's coming in here without the hook shot, so I'm not sure I agree with this. Okay, so the pod big key. I would have ended up needing another pod key, because I would have full cleared the back, and then save scum that, and not wanted to reset it. So I would have been looking for another pod key, and I would have found it there in Swamp. Wow, so he can beat... Let's see what he does. What does he need for Goman? Just the hook shot. So he'll
just
probably
the hook shot.
He'll probably just beat Helmosaur here and then do the back. Yeah, no reason to do the back first when the hook shot could be on Helmosaur. Actually, if they were keeping track, we may have found a pod small key hook shot locked on the left side. I don't remember, but if either of them were tracking it, they could know that the hook shot was not on Helmosaur, or for that matter, the big chest. Or for that matter, in a maybe not in the dark maze at all. So that's an interesting logical thing to see if they've... we'll have to ask them to see if they've tracked any of that. But if we did find a pod key hookshot locked, then it's not going to be in the dark maze, and it's not going to be on the harmless hillway, so you could skip a bunch of pod here.
Yeah, and I was feeling like this race was a little bit in Matt's favor, but it seems like pretty much a dead heat at this point. With that hook shot still at large, it's going to come down to who can find that, but GFE having made this pod play and finding pod is a really big swing in his favor.
Oh. So we're seeing Matt do left side swamp here. He doesn't have the hook shot, so can't do Argus. If he finds hook shot in one of these chests, that could be one of the last places GFE looks for it. So this is a pretty big deal if the hookshot is here for Matt. Although it could lead Matt astray. Nope.
Comes up empty.
Yeah, Matt now has... He's got 4 pod keys, so he could open that big chest. He could route it the same way I suggested I might. and that would leave him short a small key to beat Helmasaur. What's he doing now? Why'd he
I
what's
think he
looking
just
for?
sped himself into the
Oh.
wrong entrance there.
Yeah, but he's now going for this. This looks like an East Death Mountain play. He has Mirror and Hammer to get there. So he's going to find Pod. We'll see what decision he makes. It's going to be important for him to get this right. And if he wasn't sure about this is our first Ether Tablet check. If he wasn't sure about the left side bomb jumps, some risk he's not sure about the hammer jump. And that's an important key to save here. I don't know, we had someone in chat giving us insider information about how he feels about things. Maybe we'll hear how he feels about the hammer jump.
And that's, I believe, both sides of Bumper Cave that we have seen now, so useless connector there at this point.
Alright, so chat's saying he's fine with the hammer jump, so he'll be able to save that key. Not terribly unlikely we have a vanilla pod key here for that matter, so none of this may matter. There it is. Yep, so wow. So that's go mode for GFE and probably a big advantage for him. He needs to find Desert Main. He's orphaned it kind of hard though. So he's going to be still looking for entrances where if Matt does this right, if he gets lucky, he opens the 2 chests that he needs to without and saves all the keys he needs. The pod entrance is at the bottom of Hookshot Cave, so Matt is going to find it momentarily. It'll probably put him in a little better position here, actually. What dungeons does, let's see, what crystals do we need between the 2? They have the same crystals, except for Helmasaur for that matter. So, they both need to go to Desert and beat Desert. They both need to go to Swamp and beat Swamp, but Matt knows where Desert is. And he looks like he's going the right side, so he's going to try to save himself the keys. Either way, I think he won't. Well, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to open this vanilla big key chest. Or if he chooses to do it right away, at least.
Yeah, but he's skipping the main door for now, and that's what he needs to do. And I think we know for a fact there are no vanilla pod keys in here. So, this is the tension here. GFE needs to go to the right place for Desert Main. He doesn't have that many entrances left to check. I think he's got maybe the Hammer Pegs, Ice Palace. Maybe, I don't have it marked, but that's probably my fault. But he's going for Swamp. He's just going to go mode Crystal Swamp. He knows where it is. No reason not to do it. And no reason not to skip chests in here. He's in go mode. No reason to kill that guy. So here we go. We see what Matt does with his pod keys. He's going... What's he going to do? If he goes to the back first, this could be bad.
Yep.
Alright, so it's still not a problem if he goes right to get to the vanilla big key and basement chests, but he's gonna lose a little bit of time here compared to what GFE did. We've seen the waterfall. Well, I don't know what GFE has done. He's done the waterfall because that was one of his swords. We have not seen K40. Yeah, so he's got that density of two entrances for him. So there's 2 mirror locations plus the hammer peg. So that's a pretty good chance he goes there next. But Matt really needs to save this pod key here. probably going to determine the race. If he does not save this pod key, I don't think he'll have enough time.
Yeah, there's also a chance he could find another small key here in... no, never mind. I was about to say find another small key in Dark Maze. I don't think that's possible.
No, that is not possible in any version of the randomizer. Wow, he didn't even buffer that second hook, so that was really good. So he's looking for the... Okay, so he's got a mirror here and go to the right side. If he tries to go in the front, that will leave him without enough pod keys to full clear the game. He will need a pod small key for go mode. Gotta go right.
Oof. Okay, changed his mind.
Alright, so this is it. So we're going to have a close race here. It'll be the race between Matt full clearing, Matt go moding swamp versus GFE finding desert. Plus, Matt will also have to finish Helmosaur here, so that'll be a little bit extra time.
Yeah, although he'll save a few seconds in swamp since he's already dipped in there once. He won't have to go hit that first switch, but that won't save him too much given how few entrances GFE has left to check. If he's been tracking well and has a good idea of where he needs to go, I think he's ahead here.
He's really only got, I think, 4 entrances. I think he only has ice, hammer pegs, and the 2 mirror spots in the South Dark World, the race game, which is desert, and K45. I forget what this is. This is desert. So he's just going to flute, probably. And this is the right place, so probably hammer pegs first. And Matt gets go mode. Yep. So it's looking like Matt is going to be a little bit behind here. Maybe a lot behind, maybe more than I was thinking. Because he's got to beat Helmosaur and Argus compared to what GFE has to do, which is just find desert, and he is right there. So, desert's going to probably be the next entrance GFE checks. And he got the tease there. That was desert. That was the right color and everything, but not the part of desert he wanted.
And yeah, with GFE is headed straight toward where he needs to be. And it just feels like, as happens so often, go mode swamp is a big advantage for your opponent to overcome.
Yeah. So the difference, I mean, it was sort of mixed in terms of their sequencing, but ultimately, Matt full cleared Ice Palace, and he did left side swamp. And that's probably going to be the difference. I think otherwise he may actually have had a lead.
Yeah, and even down there with the Ice Palace dip, if he had opted to check entrances and found pod before swamp, this would have been neck and neck, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't think left side... Well, yeah, because he would have skipped a lot on swamp. He wouldn't have done the 2 first chests. He wouldn't have done the compass chest. So, could have been close. I think that would still be a lead for GFE, but much closer. Yeah, so Matt's going to be... looks like a full go mode of swamp behind. And this is GFE's last crystal. And this has been a pretty fast seed. We're not going to make sub 2, just barely. But it's going to be 201, 202.
Yeah, and it's going to feel bad for Matt to finish in like 205 and lose this race.
What made it a fast seed? We got the boots right away at a sanctuary. That's always nice. The access wasn't terrible. We didn't get the flute right away. But we got an early-ish glove. Oh yeah, early Moon Pearl. Moon Pearl is a mixed sort of thing. Some of the fastest seeds can actually be late Moon Pearl because you skip a lot of the Dark World. And ultimately, we kind of full cleared this seed. GFE skipped some things like the tablets, but he was on his last couple entrances when he found Desert there. Looks like we might actually get the sub 2. Oh no. Well, maybe. I am not in the race channel. That's a mistake. No, not quite the sub 2. I don't want to guess which one the race channel is. I'll leave it to others to invite them for an interview. Ooh, uh-oh.
Yeah, just one error left, though, so... it's probably closer than GFE wanted.
Yep. That could have been bad. I don't think it would have been enough. Would have been just not quite enough for Matt to catch up, but one heart away from making it much closer. So there we go. GFE finishes in first place. Time of 2 minutes and 41 seconds. 2 minutes. 2 hours and 41 seconds. He EG'd to the Triforce room. That's how he got the 241.
So while we have a second here, GFE in winning this race will move on to round 4 in the winner's bracket. He gets 1UP40, who I see in chat there. The winner of that match, very excitingly, will face either Andy, Dante, or Wolfie, depending on who comes out of the next couple of matches in there. So that is a rough part of the bracket that that GFE is in right now.
So I'm not sure what Matt can't have forfeited yet, or I'd see it. So he's just going to finish out the seed here. We'll see. Are we getting GFE in? Yeah, there we go. All right, so there he is. GFE, good game.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, so I think we might actually wait here a minute for Matt the Ogre to discuss the seed. So you are moving on. You're facing... We just said who we're facing, and I forgot.
1UP.
Yeah, 1UP.
So you have any thoughts about that matchup? You have any thoughts about how your bracket's gone so far, for that matter?
Well, I'll say Matt the Ogre definitely surprised me and probably a lot of other people to face Purame here. So GG to Matt for making it through that. Looking forward to the matchup with 1UP. If I remember correctly, we faced each other in the league, and I think I won that one, so I'm sure he's looking forward to a rematch.
Was that a cross keys race?
No, I think it was just a standard or open.
So, let's see. You have any general thoughts about the seed before we get Matt in here?
Well, I mean, it was a very, very friendly seed overall. Point that I didn't get the sub 2. I've never had a sub 2. This is still a PB by about 11 minutes for me, but would have felt pretty good. As far as the seed as a whole, than me finding the bow early, nothing else stands out massively. Getting the bow out of Spike Chest to Misery Mire with 4 hearts felt pretty good, and to dip Eastern one time felt really good.
And indeed, competitively, that was a difference. Matt dipped Eastern once without the bow and was a little late to the bow later. It sort of didn't matter for any other reason except the Eastern double dip. But I think we'll walk Matt through here to the end, and then we'll get him in to discuss the seed overall. So he's still going to finish. I don't know what his PB is. If you're in the race room, you can tell us if he gets a PB. But he's probably going to finish not quite under 206. So it'll be 206 something.
Well, I'm checking out the challenge bracket right now, and he was actually 2 hours and 14 seconds in that match against Faraime, so...
Okay, so not going to be a PB for him.
Yeah, still a really good seed overall for him, though. Just really came down to that toss-up at the end of dipping Swamp or not.
Did you enjoy seeing your logically required Skullwoods small key at the pedestal?
Yeah, that's always enjoyable. And how about that pod big key? That was great.
Yeah, both of you did basically the same thing with it. I would have done something different and been looking for a pod small key for go mode, which would have felt terrible.
You would have opened the front door out the back fully.
Yep, I would have tried to save scum that chest.
I thought about it, but I knew I could full clear, even though it's slow as can be with 4 keys. In the end anyway, because of where a hook shot was.
Yep. But I would have locked myself out of Helmasaur and it would have felt terrible. But Matt did the same thing you did, basically. He actually did the back before the front, but he saved his key, so he was able to go to Helmasaur right away. So there we go. We have the race finished there in SRL. And we'll see if we get Matt in for an interview. And there you go. 206.31 for Matt. Not sure where he is in the losers bracket. He's probably going to be waiting for 1 or more matches to figure out his next opponent. I think you guys are pretty far ahead of the schedule here.
I wasn't sure if I'd make it through this one, but I'm glad not to be down there in that losers bracket, because it's scary right now.
Oh, I've got my own Matt. Okay, so there we go. We got Matt in here who needs to unmute. Still needs to unmute.
There we go. Hi, GG GFE.
Hey, GG's, man. How about that pod big key?
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Pod
so
big key
Although
and
for
hook
me, the
sheet
hook
right
shot
there.
was the go mode.
Yeah, so
Nice.
good game to both of you. We've gone over this a little bit, but we'll go over it in more detail now that you're both here. You guys both did similar things with pod, saving the keys, doing that slow route through the right side, so that wasn't a difference. One of the differences was an early bow there for GFE, where you had to double dip Eastern Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that early death going up Death Mountain didn't help, along with a couple in Ganon's Tower and one in Ice Palace. A lot of bad deaths.
Yeah, so competitively, unfortunately, GFE never touched Ice Palace, and you full cleared it. So that was one of the big differences. The other big difference was he never touched Swamp before go mode. So 2 major time differences there.
So Ice Palace, was it Graveyard Ledge or was it King's Tomb? 245.
Ice Palace was the Dark World of... What was it? Next to... I don't even know what that building's called right there.
It's a fortune teller. You
Okay.
actually dipped in there, GFE, I think. I think you actually saw it.
Oh, I remember it. I did check it. Well, I'm glad I didn't need Ice Palace because I didn't mark it. Okay.
Yeah, so you both, I think, had the same problem on the right side again as tower, so that ended up not being a problem. I think you both spent the key and died before getting to Ice Armos going to the right.
That felt pretty bad.
Yeah, it did.
And then it looked like, Matt, you somehow knew the snake room bomb jump to get to Rando room, but not the bomb jump to get to the Stolfos room, which was odd to me given that they're the same bomb jump in different directions.
I know that bomb jump. I just didn't want to do it right there, knowing I needed hook shot at some point. But I knew I could get back to Ice Armos and the Gannis Tower Big Chest. That's kind of why I avoided that room.
I thought about skipping that because I just needed hook shot and a couple of big keys, but I didn't want to take the chance if one of those keys was in there.
So those were the main different. It seemed like Matt had a bunch of items earlier. He certainly had the mirror earlier and the flippers and hammer. He got up to Death Mountain earlier, although that death did hurt a bit. So he didn't find the stuff out of Thieves. I don't think there was actually anything in Thieves other than a sword, which you may actually not have gotten had you tried to go in there the first time.
Yeah. Actually, that death up Death Mountain probably would have caused me to double dip Thieves Town and Hera. So that might have saved me a little bit of time there.
Yeah, so it might have so it might have saved you time. Yeah, Matt also had the mitts there. That was in Skullwood's final, I believe.
I mentioned the mirror. I did feel pretty bad when I found it because I knew I could have had it a lot earlier.
Well, for the most part, a fast seed for both of you. I don't think you guys missed any entrances. I don't think you.
I didn't find desert at all aside from the back entrance.
Yeah, so it was Hammer Pegs and Hookshot Cave were two of them, and I forget the third.
Let's see, hammer pegs, hook shot, and the vanilla back of desert entrance
Oh, all right.
was the front of desert.
Yep, so, and then one of you found that hilarious connector from the Mire front entrance to the desert front entrance.
That was... I just hesitated a little bit when I went in the second one.
So,
I'm so glad that Ice Palace didn't matter. When I went up to Skull Woods the first time, I saw that I still had a mark on that building. Removed it. I knew I went in there, but I figured it wasn't important because I didn't mark it as anything.
yeah, some of those dungeons where you have to do something right away, that's where you're most likely to skip it. So Ice or Swamp getting that hint, or Desert Final where you're trying to steal the key, those are the ones I forget to mark the most.
I would have... That's probably one of the first places I would have gone back to after checking all the available entrances, because I knew that something was weird with it, but it still would have... If that had been the crystal instead of... It would have been pretty bad for me.
Yeah, just... Oh, go ahead. Oh, maybe I misheard. Just a couple little lucky breaks that go like that make a big difference. So, Matt, do you know in the bracket what's going on? We think that you're waiting for some matches to find out your next opponent.
Yeah, I think it's either the match between S&T and Haiku Type.
Okay, so you're waiting for me and S&T tonight.
Yep. So either way, that'll be a good match. It'll be a fun one to watch tonight too. Good luck in that one.
Thank you. So do we have anything else cool? Papa Bell, you have anything else? you were thinking of in terms of this race?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it all. Just GG to both runners, and thanks for putting on a great show.
Thank you very much. Thanks to y'all for the commentary and to our trackers as always. Really appreciate everything everybody does to put this on.
Yeah,
Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, so in terms of races, we have one that should still be going on right now over on Speedruns 2. I think we will host that here. It's just Plasma Kappa versus Hitsuyan.
Correct.
And then tonight, yeah, sorry, Tresco will take us there in a second. Then tonight at 11, there are 2 different matches. Not sure what the restream situation is for them, but they're both at 11. It is Sabotender versus Incoherent, and myself versus Super Nintailor.
I couldn't have said it any better. It's awesome when the commentators make your own job so much easier. Alright, so yeah, we'll figure out if restreams are going to happen for the races later. So far we are lacking trackers and commentators for both races. So, looking at it, I'm kinda sure we'll only cover one, but we'll see. Until then, I want to give a big shout out to our racers, to GFE and to Matt, GG to both. Also, to our commentators, to Cool Papa Bell and to Haiku Type, and to the unsung heroes of the tournament, to our 2 trackers, to Norinato, and to Siberian. I guess I covered everybody but myself, which is fine. So yeah. Thanks everyone for watching, and now go over to ZSR2 for the final stretch in the match between Plasma Kappa and Hitsuyan 1337. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and catch you all next stream.